Nehemiah chapter 13. On that particular day, they read from the book of Moses before the assembled people. It was written in the book that the Ammonites and the Moabites should never be allowed to enter the congregation of God. This was because they had not provided bread and water to the children of Israel when they were passing through their lands. Instead, they had hired Balaam to curse the Israelites. However, our God turned the curse into a blessing. Upon hearing this law, the people separated themselves from the mixed multitude that had previously joined them. Before this incident, Eliashib the priest, who had oversight of the chamber of the house of our God, had formed an alliance with Tobiah. He had prepared a large chamber within the temple precincts, where they used to store the grain offerings, frankincense, vessels, and tithes of grain, new wine, and oil, which were meant for the Levites, singers, and porters, as well as the offerings for the priests. During this time, I was not in Jerusalem because I had obtained leave from the king in the 32nd year of Artaxerxes, the king of Babylon. When I returned to Jerusalem, I learned about the evil that Eliashib had committed by preparing a chamber for Tobiah in the courts of the house of God. This greatly troubled me, and I immediately cast out all of Tobiah's household possessions from the chamber. I then ordered the purification of the chambers and had the vessels of the house of God, including the grain offerings and frankincense, brought back into them. I realized that the Levites had not received their portions, and the Levites, along with the singers who did the work, had returned to their fields. I confronted the rulers and asked them why the house of God had been forsaken. I gathered them together and reinstated them in their positions. All of Judah brought the tithe of grain, new wine, and oil to the treasuries. I appointed Shelemiah the priest, Zadok the scribe, and Pedaiah, one of the Levites, as treasurers over the treasuries. Hanan, the son of Zachar, the son of Mattaniah, was next to them. They were considered faithful, and their duty was to distribute to their brethren. O my God, remember my actions, and do not wipe away my good deeds for the house of my God and its services. In those days I saw people in Judah treading wine presses on the Sabbath, and bringing in sheaves, loading donkeys with wine, grapes, figs, and all kinds of burdens, which they brought into Jerusalem on the Sabbath day. I admonished them on the day they sold these provisions. Men from Tyre also lived in Jerusalem and brought fish and all kinds of goods to sell to the children of Judah and in Jerusalem. I contended with the nobles of Judah and asked them why they were profaning the Sabbath day in this manner. I reminded them that their fathers had done the same, which had brought evil upon them and the city. This kind of action would only provoke God's wrath further by profaning the Sabbath. As the gates of Jerusalem began to be dark before the Sabbath, I ordered that the gates be shut and not reopened until after the Sabbath. I stationed some of my servants at the gates to ensure that no burdens would be brought in on the Sabbath day. The merchants and sellers of various goods lodged outside Jerusalem once or twice but did not repeat their actions on the Sabbath. I commanded the Levites to cleanse themselves and to come and guard the gates in order to sanctify the Sabbath day. O my God, remember this also and have mercy on me according to your great mercy. During those days I also saw that some Jews had married women from Ashdod, Ammon, and Moab. Their children could only speak half in the language of Ashdod and could not speak the Jews' language. I confronted them, cursed them, struck some of them, and pulled out their hair. I made them swear by God that they would not give their daughters in marriage to the sons of these foreign women, nor take their daughters for their sons or themselves. I reminded them that even Solomon, the king of Israel, had sinned by such marriages. While he was beloved by his God, these outlandish women had led him to sin. Should we then follow your example and commit such a great evil, transgressing against our God by marrying foreign wives? One of the sons of Joiada, the son of Eliashib, the high priest, had married a daughter of Sanballat the Horonite. Therefore I chased him away from me. O my God, remember these actions, for they have defiled the priesthood and the covenant of the priesthood and Levites. So I cleansed them from all foreigners and appointed duties for the priests and Levites, each in their own task, including the wood offerings and the appointed times for firstfruits. O my God, remember me for good.